The gods and earth is the God born build universal, transmitter supreme science on earth and the universe. And it's iGod TV. We back in the building once again, the Augie and the Agavelli. What up, Augie? Yeah. There's a lot going on lately, man. So every time, we got to come on and we got to speak on it, man, but not in a toxic way. You know what I mean? In a good, positive delivery, man. We don't come up on here for the clickbait and just to degrade people and come up with these conspiracies to solve cases and mysteries, man. What we do is try to solve. What we do is solve the mysteries of the mind, man, and try to figure out those ways. That's how we really make the real changes. Is when we change the mentalities, man. So that's what we dive into on this channel. We don't tap into none of that, none of the drama and none of the trash that come with it. You know what I mean? But we definitely want to say rotate in power. To PNB Rock and condolences to his family. And it's just a sad case of the things that still continue to go on in the neighborhood to this day. You know what I mean? And it's like, we got to learn how to move. We got to learn how to do things. We got to stop giving our homeboys jobs that professionals should have. You know what I mean? We got to get real security. We got to get real security. We got to get real managers. We got to get real, we want to help the brothers out, but you got to know what you're doing and you got to be able to do the job correctly. I'm not saying don't put the homies on, but what I'm saying is you got to make sure the job's got to be done correctly. They go through the training, and they do the right things that's supposed to be done to be official and be professional, man. You know what I mean? So does everybody out there just move safely, man? You know what I mean? And, judge wise, you know what I mean? That's coming straight from the eye God, for real.
Down. Hey, and let me add on with that. And there ain't nothing wrong, like you said, with giving your homeboys jobs, but had a homeboy that got a speciality that's in tune with what you're doing. If you got some homies that's going to college for finance or accounting or management, these cats are getting trained to these professional positions.
Right.
They ain't just coming on like, I know somebody and they might could put us on, and you know what I'm saying, or I know, who will pay for us a show, but after that show, who you selling your product to?
Even like say, even if you got a homeboy that was in the military. Now that's who you bring in to be a part of the security team.
Yeah, because he gonna train all the people around him.
Exactly. Same thing the Black Panthers did. Geronimo Pratt brought him in, got the science because he had the military training. But a lot of y'all probably look at the dude in high school that went to the military. Y'all looking at him as like a square. So you ain't got no communication with him anyway. When honestly, that should be the man you should bring in because he know all the tactics, he know all the maneuvers, he know how to read the room, and things like that, man. And that's the type of people you need to be putting in your situation, and that's why we're here tonight. Because speaking of that, we want to talk about these energy vampires. And there's many levels to being an energy vampire. A lot of people just look at it as just people wanting to take the positive energy from you, and never give it back and just drain of your positive energy. But a lot of us out here, we drain and we absorbing the negative energy the most right now, it seems like. Everything we click on, all the clickbait, everything you scroll on YouTube, all you see is just negative energy out there for the vampires to just absorb and charge up off of. You know what I'm saying? Me and the Augie was just doing a little research earlier. Tell them about a little bit. We ain't gonna say no names, but just tell them the experience that you had earlier, Augie, just scrolling down the algorithm.
Hey man, salute to the Agavelli, because it's like, we symbiotic, minds. Because I was just finished say we were having a conversation earlier, and I couldn't believe it because I never thought of it like that. And I went down to my favorites, and I looked at the
titles,
titles to the gigoids, and everything was geared to the negative of a situation. I mean, I don't care what it was geared to well, what happened to this person? Well, this person got smacked. Man, they pulled a gun on this dude. Man, this cat got killed. And these cats got, one day, these cats got like 200-some thousand views.
Right.
In a day.
Right. Motherfuckers, people tapping directly into it, you know, because they just want to see the drama and hear about the drama to make their drama. I don't know. Misery loves company. We know that. So,
Right. Hey, but then that's a flip side of that too. The misery got to feed off, got to have company so it can grow. It's like it's like a mass effect, if you
right.
will. Somebody ain't feeling bad, so they don't want you to feel good. You know,
Yeah. Hurt
they
people,
ain't
hurt people, hurt people, hurt people, like they say.
right, and it ain't that they trying to take your positivity. It's they trying to add negativity to you so they can feed off that to bolster their
Yeah.
negativity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's all they can transmit. All they can
Right.
transmit is negative vibes. You know what I'm saying? So that's all you're gonna get from them, you know. And that's why I want to one topic I want to talk about is, you know, uh giving energy that's never received back, you know, never reciprocated, you know, and that's on all levels. That's emotionally in relationships. That could be monetarily. You might be feeling like you're putting in a lot of work at a job or into a idea or something, and you're not seeing what you're getting back from it, feeling like you're getting back what you should be getting back from it, you know, or just being there for family members, friends, any of that, you know, but you got no
Yeah.
one to call on when you might have something just to talk or just whatever too. You know what I mean? So it's like
It's
a
no
lot of people are going, a
transference.
lot of people are going through that to where they felt like they put out a lot of energy and they felt like but they feel like they should be rewarded, you know, with that same energy back and maybe even a little more, you know what I mean? So they feel like they weren't rewarded, you know, for being that energy that helped another person, you know, elevate their life, you know?
Hmm. That's a great point. That's a great point, Velly. You know what I'm saying? But then think about this like this. If you ain't doing something from the heart, don't do it. You shouldn't look for the reward. The reward is in doing it. Because
Exactly.
that's who you might be now. And not saying folks in Augie land to be gullible and but
Right.
you gotta
Right.
understand, as the Valley said, this is an energy transference.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you, sometimes me. You know what I mean? Compromise is the best part of this whole life because if we didn't compromise with the environment, shit, we wouldn't be here. Or the
Exactly.
environment didn't compromise with us.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, next time, you feel like you're being too good to somebody, I mean, just realize that that's you. And,
Right.
after you paying your energy forward. If
Right.
that's you, continue to be you
Yeah.
because those vampires is going to run out of gas.
Uh-huh. And
Well,
you should be able to
especially,
walk away. You should be able to walk away happily, you know,
mm,
knowing that you played your part. You know, a lot of us, instead of just being happy with, you know, I played my position, you know, I stayed
right,
loyal or I stayed down or
right,
I held it down. I played my part. They didn't. Okay, that's why it's over. Instead, they just, you know, walk around with the why in their mind. Why didn't they? You know, they just didn't. It wasn't for them. It's not what they wanted to do. It's individual. We always feel like, you know, that they owe it to us, or you know, it's just automatically done that way, but it's not. You know, there's a story of the Buddha, and once a year, every once, I don't know if it's once a year or however he did it, when he did his fasting, or he did it not fasting, but he did his begging, and he'd go around with a bowl in his hand, and he'd go door to door and see who would give him food, you know, and that's the food that he would eat, you know what I mean, for the day or whatever, you know what I mean. But
right, right,
he wasn't doing it out of, you know, he didn't give them anything. He didn't, it wasn't for him to bless you. It wasn't for, you know what I mean? He didn't, it wasn't looking for a reward back at all. You know what I'm saying? Or just doing charity itself or giving
I, I,
food
was, I
away,
was just going to say,
giving food away.
just see where your charitability is,
Hmm.
just as a person.
Right.
But,
Without looking for the reward. You know what I mean? So we feel like sometimes in relationships and things like that, we do it. You know, us elevating their life was a charitable act. So we feel like we should be rewarded by it, you know. But in some cases, you should. It just depends on the type of reward you're looking for. Like if you're looking for loyalty, then that's definitely should be something that you're owed. if that's
No
something
doubt.
that you gave. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Respect, and things like that, and and empathy. Those are the things you should definitely get back. You know what I mean? But if you just throwing it out there, oh, I took care of you for this little time, or I did this for you and did that for you, that's just what you were saying. That's just the egotistical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You ain't doing it for the love. You ain't doing it out of love.
That's the hey, we got the energy vampires, but you got the ego. You got the ego vampires too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Which is all the energy. Which is all the energy because the ego. Okay, you got the id, the super id, and the ego.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
The
Which could be
ego is
like
trying to
a
make
the
sense of
ego
all
could
this.
be the ego could be like a tapeworm, man. It could eat up everything that come inside you before it can get to you.
Hey, but did you know your super ego? Once again, I said it was the id, the ego, and the super ego.
Right.
Your super ego is actually the cool, it's the unpompous part of you. It's
Yes.
the part that's the realist because it
Right.
know who you really are and not who you trying to be and the ego projects
Right.
your insecurities out to the world and what you
Right.
get your defense mechanisms.
Right.
If
We
you
call
have,
that we call that not we call that knowledge of self. You know what I mean? Now that's knowledge of self. That part of the ego is knowledge of self. You know what I mean? And that's what you want to look for. You know what I
that's the
mean?
best
But
part.
but for things, but to feed off things that make you feel advantageous over people, that's the part of the ego. That's the negative side of it. You know what
And
I
it's a
mean?
low, and a low frequency.
That's the
And a low
magnetic
frequency.
side of it.
And a low frequency only due to the fact that you trying to sit back. That's like a conversation we had earlier about the one seed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
One seed can't populate a garden
That's right.
unless it's a what? A
That's just a
weed.
weed. That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. The only thing that can spread and take over from one seed is a toxic weed growth. You know what I'm saying? It's a toxic growth, man. It's coming to poison and actually destroy, the garden. You know what I mean? And like you
Mhm.
said, one seed can't grow the garden. So that's why you got to have a collective, you got to have a team, you know what I mean? And you got to be a part of that collective and everybody got to know that they are their own seed that has to grow. A lot of
Yeah, in
people
the garden.
a lot of people they got their seed in the ground, but they watching all the other plants grow.
Right. And not trying to be a part of the garden.
Yeah, you're afraid to break through the soil. You want to be a part of the garden, but you're not synthesizing with the sun. You're not watering yourself. You know what I mean? You're not giving yourself the nutrients that it take to break through the soil.
Mm-hmm.
You down there just a dormant seed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You
Facts.
know? And then you got some people, who just put the mask on of having that seed in the ground, you know?
Oh,
And then when you those type of vampires, then when you give them that energy, you know what I mean? You find out there never even was a seed there,
it was
you
never
know?
seen.
It
It
was
was a
just
it
a
was a,
waste
it
of
was a, it was
water.
a Halloween mask.
It was just a waste of water and sunlight. You know what I
Hey,
mean? They never had
hey,
no intentions
hold on,
on
hold on,
growing
hold
at
on.
all.
Hold up, God. Really, there is no waste because everything is for its own purpose.
Yeah.
But I like how you said that. But let's look at it as being a waste of the energy and the nutrients. Let's look at it as a cautionary tale to those who want to grow and prosper and break through the soil
Very
and just
true.
go, wow, need something to need that inertia. You know what I mean?
That's right.
To take that potential energy into kinetic energy
That's right.
and keep it fucking moving.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's where, you know what I mean? Because
Right.
see, most people, you know what I'm saying, I've noticed, and I had a couple of conversations with people that anytime you bring up something positive, right,
Uh-huh.
always want to think they know what the snafu is.
Right.
You could have deliberated on something for 10 years and not told nobody. But the
Right.
first person you tell this miraculous thing you done came up with,
Mm-hmm.
and you done been in the lab and you done tested it by yourself. You
Right.
know it worked.
Right.
and you want to share it, I'm gonna say with the average.
Mm-hmm.
Average, you know, they gonna find some way to poke holes in your bucket.
Right. And you know what? That's a
Because
good point. That's a good point because you know what they say. If you the smartest person in the room, you in the
you're in
wrong
the
room.
wrong room.
You in the
You're in the
wrong room.
wrong room.
Unless you there to teach, unless you there to teach, you in the wrong room.
That's right.
If you there to elevate, you in the wrong room. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
that's what
right.
we got to do. We got to change our environment. One thing that they tell drug addicts when they go to rehab is you got to change your people, places, and things.
That's right.
That's the first rule to shaking any addiction.
That's right.
So if you addicted to these negative energies, or you feel consumed by these negative energies, you got to change your people, places, and things, man. You know?
Hey, and that's a great point you made because let's make that one of the first things that do you know you might be a vampire?
Yeah.
If if you one of these people, if the
Right.
shoe fits, you better get some bedazzle it and get it in a pump and wear it comfortably. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But if you don't
Right.
like that shoe, get you some new shoes. Go to the cobbler.
Right.
Go, you know what I mean? And you
Like
want
they
a
said,
cobbler.
like the gods say, you know, the snake inside yourself be the first head you take.
That's right.
The first thing you do is destroy it in yourself. You know what I mean? So, like you said, do you recognize any of those traits within you? You know,
No.
on certain levels. Me growing up, I've done it on certain levels. I've
Yeah.
done things, how men do with certain men growing up as you learn you doing things, you might, you know, be with a woman that you might not be all the way into, but you need that place to rest your head at, or you know what
Empower
I mean?
you.
Or you might be with the homie, you might be with, especially when we was in high school, the homie's parents might have bought him a whip. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
might not really rock like you rock, you know what I mean, or however, but at the same time, it's how we getting around. You know what I'm
That's
saying? He
right.
got the system, he got the car, we getting up out of school early. You
And
know what I mean?
everybody looking good.
Yeah, so that those are just mild cases of of what they call it, vampirism. You know
Yep.
what I mean? That's just mild cases of it, you know what I mean? But we just trying to show you that it's broad and everybody's experienced it, and it happens on so many different levels, you know what I mean? And everybody is a seed, and you have to water that seed yourself, and you have to absorb that sunlight yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To become part of that garden, man. But if you want to be one of those things, one of those weeds, so to speak, that spread through like a virus and take all the nutrients from the whole garden itself, you know what I mean? You
You're
one
gonna
of
be
the
a
people
nothing
that
guy.
yeah, yeah, fall back or fall
Yeah.
back, you know what I mean? Because this ain't the time. This ain't the time.
Well, that time is over with. You know what I'm saying? Not only is it not the time, but that time is coming to an abrupt end. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
Because
we about to transform into that seven,
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm,
2023. That 2023, we about to
you know
transform
what I'm
into that
saying?
seven. You know what I mean?
Let's see what they're and and for the iGuard listeners
Yeah.
and the sports enthusiasts, look at it like this. This is your year to go Jordan, baby. If you're a
Yeah.
Jordan fan, this is 23. This is the
Yeah.
year to go from the foul line, do all the
Right.
incredible shit,
Right.
and show cats that you the MVP.
That's
You
right.
the what they call it, you're the GOAT
That's right.
of your reality, of your circumference, of your universe, how small or large it may be. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Wearing the shoes
Exactly.
and good attitude.
Right. We've been moving through the six all year, which is equality. So
Quality.
if we really look at 2022, you know what I mean, we was moving through the equality, meaning we were elevating the frequencies of our minds to get onto the levels of understanding as our oppressors.
Yeah.
Now they can't fool us now. The blinders been taken off now. Now
Yeah.
we've been dealing with equality. With look at all this internet craze and podcasting, and everybody putting out their own networks, everybody independently doing their own thing. That's the equality. That's the corporate equality. That's the economic equality. You know what I mean? Now we about to transform into that right angle, that 90 degrees perpendicular. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Standing
sir.
up, standing firm. You know what I mean? And now
10
that's our,
toes down.
yes, that's our time. That's our time to where, that's also the staff. That's the staff of power. That's the staff of royalty. If you see the staff of the pharaoh, it looked like a seven. You know what I mean? You got that. Now you got to sit on your own throne, man. You know what I mean? That's one of the lessons that the gods teach us, man, is as the sun is the center of the universe, also is the father or the man the center of his own universe and his family. You know what I mean? So what that translates into is that yes, God created us. Yes, God does things for us, but you are the center of everything that's happening and what's going on directly in your life.
And what's gonna happen?
That's free will. See, what y'all got it twisted up in the language. Y'all say free will, WILL. I say free will. You get what I'm saying? It's the free will. You know what I'm saying?
It's your 360 degrees, baby.
It's your freedom to rotate your own universe.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Speak on it, God.
Yeah. And when you be able to come to that mastery, the Kemites told us that in the afterlife you would be a master of your own universe. The He-Man. You know what I'm saying?
He had the power. So, he had the power.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He was stuck in the fire.
If you want to be able to master your own celestial universe when you get up out of here, you got to be able to master this physical universe that they put around you.
In every way, shape, and form.
What type of cosmic rays is you sending off? Is you just sending off crazy, chaotic solar storms?
Hey, are you sending enlightenment, love, peace, and building,
and empathy, right? Because understanding ain't nothing but empathy.
Oh, and let's not get for the listeners. Let's not get this confused. Empathy is not sympathy.
No, it's not.
See, no, it's not. I have no sympathy, but I have mad empathy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I can put myself in your shoes and understand your situation for sure. Sympathy is believing that a person don't have a way out when there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
That's right. I feel sorry for you.
You know what I mean? And that's just for real. I mean, it's like we were just talking about the toxic. It seems like the toxic seed, which it only takes one, is what's spreading so much faster than everything else in the streets, on the internet, and everywhere. It's like even when you look at TikTok, it started off fun, doing dances to your favorite songs, cute kids, saying funny stuff. You know what I mean? Now it done turned into twerk pay, adults only, really. It almost turned, they had to switch it up to where now it's a kids one and an adults one now, because now it's just about everybody want to feel like a model. Everybody want to feel like a life coach. Everybody want to, you know what I mean? It's like so saturated with so-called creators, no disrespect because I'm a creator too, but when you look at it, it's like y'all steering all the platforms still into this chaotic culture.
And you know what?
Y'all ain't using these platforms to transform the minds so we can get up out of this trap that we all know that we in.
Right. Hey, or at least
we not be in one garden.
True indeed.
We not be in one garden. We be in one seed, which we just said becomes toxic. When you want to be that one seed, it becomes a weed and becomes toxic, man.
Hey,
roll with the collective plants, man. Roll with the stay in a row, man. Stay in that row, man.
Be in the arrangement.
Yeah.
Be in the arrangements, you know what I'm saying? Like when
Mm-hmm.
you give your mom some flowers or something, you give your girl some flowers, you know what I mean? You're gonna give them an arrangement, you know what I mean? An assortment, you know
Which
what
is
I'm saying?
much more
Everybody's a
abundant,
unique
which is much
individual.
more, there's much more abundance on that side of it.
Facts. You
You
know
know
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying?
saying? So much more, and it's like, like we said, it takes the collection, man, and all of us as podcasters, journalists, you know, platforms, so to speak, we all got to realize that we are seeds in that garden. You know what I mean? And what type of fruit do we really want to bear? Do we want to continue
Facts.
to do we want to continue to use these negative things that happen on earth just to put that out there? That's why people stop watching the news. People stopped watching the news because they got
Oh,
tired of, and stopped reading the newspaper because all they got was negative energy. They made it feel like they was living in the worst times,
but think about it. They
when
took the
actually it's
news,
beautiful times.
they took the news from reading it like, normal people to now it's on the internet. So they got the news. They got anything you want to see that's heinous, anything you want to see that's anti something. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Throwing your little hate spins on certain shits. You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
Which I mean, it's still that's the
It's the
vampirism.
new, yeah, it's the new journalist for sure, But
You know what I'm saying?
I was just saying, like, back in the day, cats ain't sitting down at 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock like they used to. You know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying?
that's facts. That's facts.
You're not making sure everything's done by 6, so you can see the news and watch the sports and to watch everything that's going on locally and just whatever's going on. We watching the news that's going on everywhere else.
Facts.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
then make it so bad.
You more
We
worried
got
about
computers in our hands.
look, yeah, I mean, no disrespect, but they more worried about PNB Rock getting killed than the brother that just got killed in their neighborhood. They ain't doing no vlogs or no stop the violence or no nothing for him.
No, no.
They caring about the celebrity more. You know what I mean? They'd rather broadcast that than broadcast, the things that go on in their own area and try to fix those. And that's all they keeping their eye on. So they ain't watching the 6 o'clock news. You know what I mean? They watching Say Cheese. They watching, you know,
Right.
Vlad's, and then I don't even like to drop other pods names because that's not even who I am, man. Because we if unless we collaborating on something positive, we in two different lanes, man, and we don't even want to consider. We don't even want to even have to even communicate in a
But yo,
negative way
God,
with y'all. You know
this
what I
ain't an
mean?
act. This is
Go
actual
ahead, Lord.
fact.
Go ahead,
This ain't
Lord.
an act. This is actual fact. We
Uh-huh.
only mention these names because when you look at the content, you'll see what we're talking about is factual. It's not. This is not demeaning or degrading nobody. This is not saying that they don't have good content. If this is the content you wish to look at, you got it right there.
Right.
But what do that say for what you looking for in content? Do you
Exactly.
want negative or positive content in come inside your vessel?
Yeah.
And that's a
Feeding your
choice.
neurons. This
And
is
that's
what
a
you want to
choice.
feed. This is what you want to feed to your neurons.
I mean, so I mean, it's a billion, it's a gazillion brains in the earth on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's for those who think. I'm talking about humans and everything that has to think to live.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you can't discount, but everything else is in a synergy. It's in a cycle. We
Right.
the only ones, the ones with, as you said, free will.
Mm-hmm.
But most people ain't don't even control their own brain.
Right. And that's a good
So
point because
free the
our
will.
brains, our brains, having the human brain, it's constantly looking for reprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
they call it constantly wanting to learn or constantly wanting to be stimulated.
God.
But
Unless
what that really means is constantly wanting to be stimulated and things like that. That just really means constantly looking for programming. It's
mm-hmm.
constantly looking to evolve and know and decipher, you know what I mean, and advance, you know what I mean, and bring in energy, you know what I mean, to you know, to turn your vessel into what it is. You know what I mean? And
It is.
and
Hey,
what you
that's
gonna
like,
absorb, you know?
hey, facts. Hey, but that's like you can love your favorite candy, right? Say it's whatever.
Yeah.
Can't live off of it. It tastes great to you. It makes you feel good when you eat it, but you can't live off that
Right.
because it's
And
not real. It's a made up synthetic that was designed for you to feel like that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm using that analogy when, I gotta keep saying. I'm gonna say this every episode, Velly. Who controls your brain? Who controls your brain? Now,
Uh-huh.
if you can't answer that question seriously, then you don't control your brain.
Right.
If you don't take accountability for your ways, words, and actions, you don't control your brain. Your
No.
brain's being controlled, like the Valley just said, by constant reprogramming. But
Yep.
what is reprogramming you? You should be reprogramming if you need reprogramming. Because you
Exactly.
always because you gotta keep going up levels. You
Yes.
gotta keep to be you can hey, it's like the number line guard.
Yep.
We all start through coming through the cipher, right?
Right.
And you can take one step forward, or you can be like, no, I'm gonna take 2 steps back. 2 steps back, you gotta step through the cipher to get one step forward. Now you
Exactly.
done took 3 steps, actually four, to take one step.
Exactly.
Because you know, 50
Uh,
Cent said it best on the 50th law of power.
mm-hmm.
Fear.
Right.
What you scared of? You know what I mean? I'm just
Right.
saying, and I don't mean to say it like that, but you know, people don't want to admit, but everybody got their apprehensions.
Yeah. Look.
Everybody,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying everybody wants to show their best.
Right.
Unless you just gave up and you don't really care, and you just, you know,
Right.
you just I'll be a cog in any machine.
Right. And
You
that's what I
know,
want to tell people, man. Look, the past is done.
that's right.
When we tap into the past on iGod TV is to teach a lesson on and to empower us to show us our true abilities, you know, and our true greatness. But the
Mm-hmm.
things in the past that really hold you back, those things are done and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, where you want to go into the
Oh,
future, where you want to go into the future, you can only work towards, but you never know honestly where it's actually going to go. Only thing you got control of right now is what's going on right now in the present in this time. You know what I mean? If you spending time with your children, spend time with your children, be there mentally. You
that's
know,
right.
if you writing books or you like to do poetry or you like to, you know, even coming down to brushing your teeth, brush your teeth. Don't wake up because they tell and the reason and it sound funny, but the first thing they tell you when you wake up in the morning for the first hour or two in the day, your subconscious is the most influential. It can be influenced the most after the first hour that you wake up because you're still coming from the dream time.
That's right.
So the first thing you do when you get up and you go brush your teeth, you start thinking, "Oh, I gotta go pay for this from tomorrow. Oh man, old girl ain't text me. Oh man, this is this. Oh, I gotta go to." You know, you already done destroyed any positive spark that you had for just being alive and being above the dirt, man. That's a
That's
win.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't do nothing about either one of them, past or the future. Only thing you can do about the future is work towards it. Only thing you can do
That's
about the
right.
past is learn from it.
That's
Right
right.
now is the time when you do the work. This is hands on. Present means hands on.
That's right.
You
Hey,
know,
and the thing like this also, bro. The past is every second that is not the future. So you always living in the present. You know, you can think back, but why think back when you done walked so far ahead of that? You know
exactly,
what I mean?
exactly. You
I
got to
mean, you
see your
know,
elevation.
even in the worst situation, you know where this road done led. So now all you
Right.
gotta do, you gotta walk the road.
That's right. You got to
You
see your
know, you gotta
elevation.
walk the road flat
Yep.
out.
Right.
You know, I
He's
mean,
on down the road, like they said on the Wiz.
he's on down the road.
Right.
You know what I
Don't you
mean?
carry nothing that might be a load. You know what I
Because
mean? Shout
travel
out to the
light.
great Michael Jackson and Diana Ross,
Hey,
man.
hey. And then if you really think about the entendre of it, travel light.
You know what? We might have to give y'all that. We might have to give y'all that, man. We might have to give y'all the breakdown of the Wiz. They gave y'all the Wizard of Oz bull. We're gonna have to give y'all the technical,
Ooh.
the
Hey,
psychological, the metaphysical breakdown of the Wiz, with
ooh,
Michael
hey,
Jackson. You know what I
hey.
mean? And really
You
give
know
it to
what?
y'all psychologically on what they was trying to give us. You know what I mean? And we also
Ooh.
gonna do another one too, man, on the Parliament Funkadelics and George Clinton and the Star Children. That's just a
Oh
couple
yeah.
things I want to give y'all that's coming up soon, man. So y'all stay
Earth,
tapping
wind, and
in, y'all
fire.
stay sharing, y'all stay liking, y'all stay rocking with us, man, because we going and we appreciate every view and every like and every share. Trust me. We know the
And
people
all of
that we
y'all's
we,
albums,
we know the
man.
people that we deal with. We know the people that rock with us, and we rock with y'all 100%. So don't ever hesitate, to tap in with us. That's why we give y'all our Instagrams so you can come on in, follow, hit us in the DM if you want to talk about something, or even if you want to hop on the Zoom with us, man, and build. You know what I mean? You know, let us know. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to
Yeah,
do it, man,
yeah.
because we look at all of us as family, man. Like we said, the Aggies, the Aggie and the Agavelli and the Agavellians. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
That's how we rolling. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Triple A to save the day. You
You
know
know
what I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying?
Yeah,
Hey, who you
I
thought we would have jammed? Triple A.
mean. Yeah,
You
man,
know?
and we've been on this, before we close it out, man, we've been on this energy vampires, and we've been talking about planting seeds and moving and recognizing it in ourselves, and seeing inside, man, and in closing, I want to end with the topic of you know, also there's seeds that are planted but haven't been germinated yet completely. So also don't water seeds that aren't prepared to grow yet.
Facts.
All seeds need to be germinated. Now, I don't want to show my age, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all might not be doing this now in the classroom, but we used to have to take the seed, put it in the brown paper,
That's right.
let it sit in the brown paper for a
Let
minute
it
to
sit,
absorb,
baby.
let it know what's about to happen to it. You know what I'm saying? And get the synergies
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I mean, prepared before we dropped it in and into the egg carton. You know what I'm saying?
Talk it.
And
Talk it.
gave,
Talk it. Talk it.
look, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we
Please,
got to treat it. That's the same way with life, and that's the same way we got to interact with these other human beings on this planet. We all out here individually on the in this we doing the same thing, but it's all individually. Same as the animals. All of us, we all live in a separate thing on one thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it all one. But the gift, but the gift is the feeling of being you.
That's
That's
right.
the actual gift the creator gave you.
Yeah.
That's
Because
the actual
everything is
gift.
everything.
Yeah. That's the
And ain't
everything
nothing
is
under the
everything.
sun.
Everything is everything. But the gift to that is he also gave us the ability to be an independent thinker and an individual.
Unique.
You don't
A
have
unique
to, yeah,
individual.
exact uniqueness. The uniqueness is the, is the secret to the everything is everything. You know what I mean? That's the
That's right.
reward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the birth. That's the
Facts.
baby. That's the baby of everything being everything. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, we look around and all we see is eternal life, man. And even looking at the grass regrow after you cut it, you know what I mean? And certain things doing, regenerating themselves, we heal, it shows us that we're a part of something that's infinite and everlasting. You know what I mean?
That's
And
right.
once you embrace that, you know what I mean? You're not afraid of anything going away because you know that you're a part of something that has no end to it. You
You
know,
are you are a fraction of the all, which is
hmm the only thing you need to be putting an end to is the negativity in your mind. You know what
mm-hmm.
I mean? That barrier that you have between yourself and your actual abilities. Like me and Augie told you before, the thought and the action can be miles away from you for you in your mind. Bring it closer. Bring your thoughts and your actions together. Combine them. You know what I mean? Because
Yes, sir.
that's gonna bring you about that depression. That's gonna bring you about that anxiety. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Bring the actions together.
Who's the sole controller? Who
Yeah.
controls your brain? It's your brain. You're
Mm-hmm.
the only one with that brain on the planet.
Right.
Don't nobody got a brain like yours.
Exactly.
And you
Exactly.
got to unlock the secrets of your brain. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? That's the whole key. Once you
Right.
understand who you are as an individual in this big jungle called life, you know what I'm saying, with all the animals and we the highest form of them,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Once you unlock your abilities, you know what I mean? A
Yep.
likes, B like, and C like, your tribe gonna come to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a community now.
Right.
Now we on a positive discourse.
Right.
Or you gotta go ahead and put everything all the polarities.
Right.
If you're on the low frequency, now you're on a negative discourse. And
Right.
you know what the end results of negativity is? It's negative.
Mm-hmm.
The end results of positivity is positive.
Exactly.
And even though negativity, okay, that's like this. You got a million, right?
Right.
And say, and just name a small number, a small, medium, big number.
You
Any
know,
number.
100,000, 100,000.
Okay. Take 100,000 from a million, right?
Yeah.
You still in the positive.
Right.
But guess what? Say you a million down, right?
Right.
And you came up with a paltry 100,000.
Right.
You still in the negative.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't the drop of the bucket, sir,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am. So be on the positive side of things. Negativity gonna come, but it
Right.
can't take away from the whole positive sum of what you building, of what you living, how you living, and what you doing. But if you already on the negative and a drop of positivity come, I would suggest you deal with that positivity and find a multiplier.
Right.
Because you're gonna come up out the hole just like that seed up out the ground.
Exactly.
But guess what? You put yourself farther than the other seeds, and you had to look up, further. So
Yep.
you got to dig yourself out the hole. Now you digging yourself out the hole instead of just coming about the game piece.
Right. When you got plants that already grew taller around you, blocking the sunlight. Now you're
Hey,
trying to now you're trying to grow in the shade. You know what I'm saying? Now you're
right,
trying to grow in the shade because you got left behind when that you didn't take in the nutrition the nutrients. You know what I
right.
mean? And now we got these and
Well, hold
segueing.
on. Before you
Go
go
ahead.
on, I
Go
want to
ahead.
piggyback. No, that was perfect what you said because guess who you become? That one seed that said fuck the garden.
Yep.
I become the weed.
Yep. Yep.
See that it came back around, oh God?
Yep. Yep.
Pardon me for cutting your
Nah,
wisdom.
you was exactly right. I'm
But
just going
I
right.
had to right there.
I was going right with that same thing you were saying. You know what I mean? Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we going through right now because now we got a new term that you're gonna hear for the first time on iGod TV. Now we got these clout vampires.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh,
Get what
that's
I'm
definitely.
saying? None of
Yeah.
these dudes, none of these dudes care about anything that's really going on or how impactful any of it is. They just post it because they feel like people want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to
The
say the man's
trenders.
name, but Adam 22, he was on a podcast and they was asking him why all he does is post this violence and all this thing that goes on. And he's like, I do it because I feel like it's what people want to talk about. And that's just the facts. And he monetizes off of it. He admitted he makes money off it. And and it's like None of it, none of the positive things. He could care less about any of the positive things that is happening or post any of the good things about any of it because he don't have no emotional attachment to any of it at all.
It's
To
just
him,
money,
it's just the word on the
money.
street. Whatever the word on the street is what they decide to post. These academics and
Right.
all these other dudes. But they never give you your accolades until maybe you gone or you pass away, and then they monetize off that afterwards. But
You
they
know,
don't never they don't never do
in the
anything
words
to
of Dame
enhance
Dash,
anything.
in the words of Dame Dash, and I'm just gonna tweak it. They digital chatty patties.
Mm-hmm. That's a
You know,
fact. That's a
so
fact.
all that is gossip, and not gossip, but it's just the bad things that happen in the neighborhood. What happened to little June who just went to Harvard and he was only 13?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? What
Mm-hmm.
happened to damn the one little girl? She's got uh, how's she about to get a PhD at 16, 17?
Right. Right.
Who's her people?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
What they want to talk about is, I mean, just like movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
People really don't want to go see movies, which I haven't seen any in a long time, that are historical representations of positivity.
Mm-mm. At
Every
all.
movie,
At all.
every movie, especially African American cinema, and I say that
Yeah.
loosely,
Like the two
it's
shorties,
always
like the two shorties, like the two shorties, and forgive me for not remembering their names, but the two shorties that worked for NASA,
no.
you know? Why didn't that blow up? Why ain't they doing interviews? The girls who did the movies, why ain't they, you know what I'm saying? It's like, or
Right.
even like, you know, they don't, somebody will have something positive going on, but they'll still just talk about the negative side of what you got going on. You know what I mean? They won't
Yeah,
even
'cause
they won't even recognize it half the time.
what your boy say? Uh, it's provocative. People love it. you
Yeah.
know. But then, and that goes back to, uh, Avi's in Paris. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
By
Right.
two greats, Jay and Kanye.
Right.
But I ain't gonna lie, I enjoy the music as an adult, but the message is basically, it's man.
And the world is
All right,
bigger. The
I'm gonna
world
say,
is
I'm gonna
bigger
say
than
this.
the world is bigger than what we believe it is. It's letting them know, like, look, yo, it's Augie's in Paris, bro. We everywhere. It ain't just your
You know what I'm
neighborhood. It
saying?
ain't just your block,
And it could be everywhere.
and like another thing too, man, like we were just saying about the clickbait. They'd rather post a video about how Dr. Umar never opened up the school he talked about and bash him instead of talk about how LeBron James actually did build a school in his neighborhood.
And if
Why
you
we
him,
ain't why we ain't posting that? Ain't nobody clicking on that, but they want to
hey,
click and they want to
why ain't
bash
they
Umar.
interviewing him? Why ain't they interviewing LeBron for that?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Why
They
ain't
rather
he saying
bash Umar.
LeBron for that interview?
They rather bash and argue with Umar. And shout out to Dr. Umar. I got nothing against you, brother. I know you don't remember it because I was nobody, but I met you at the Million Man March. We took a picture together on my Facebook. You know what I mean?
No,
I met a bunch of brothers. I met a bunch of brothers at the Million Man at the last Million Man March. You know what I mean? And and we need more things like that to be doing on our own. We can't be waiting for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I mean, Honorable Minister Farrakhan to be, to bring things together like that. Like we said, we got to be that garden. We got to grow these seeds, and we got to be a collective. We can't just wait till a Million Man March to come and just show that we can be a garden. But then once that's over, we go back in the dirt.
but and that's another thing. Let's stop doing things as a collective for the cloud of being there. I was at the Million Man March, but what'd you learn? Who'd you meet? What'd you
Exactly.
network with? Shoot. When it was
Exactly.
George Floyd, I'm just going back to George. I protested. I mean,
Well, it was about Trayvon Martin. It was for Trayvon.
Trayvon Martin. Yeah. Excuse me. Trayvon Martin thing. Well, any of these people. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
But you
You
know
own
that's what I did.
47.
Hey, you know that's what I did. I linked up with the Nuwapians. We bought a book
Oh,
from them. I met the Hebrew Israelites, Tazariak and all that. That's
right.
on YouTube doing your thing. I love what you brothers are doing. But I was at the Million Man March. I seen y'all up there on stage giving it up. Y'all definitely some serious dudes. You know what I mean? I met them. You know what I mean? I met like all the God bodies. We was going through the whole thing yelling "Peace, God," and we were seeing the seven flags, so that was already implanted. You know.
That's right.
Then we linked in with a few of the NOI because they were all on their posts, but then a
Yes,
few,
yeah.
but they also get to take breaks. So we caught a couple of them that was on break. You know what I mean? And they happened to be from the Brooklyn or whatever, and they was God bodies. You'd be surprised. See, they make it seem like there was a split. There was a split back in the day with the 5%ers and the Nation of Islam. But what I learned from the Million Man March is every single NOI member that I talked to was a God body.
Oh,
He was a he ministered Elijah Muhammad, and all that and everything had to wore the outfit, everything. But they recognized the 120 lessons and they lived by the 120 lessons, and it's alive and well with inside of the rankings. And I don't know why Farrakhan don't necessarily bring that out, but if there to me personally, through my experience, other people can say what they want to say, but I didn't see a complete separation between the 5% nation and the Nation of Islam, man. It's brothers in the NOI that's God body.
hey, well, see, that's a beautiful thing. So now we dispelling, what I'm saying, people's misconceptions because now we got this, the internet, man. But somebody, what they do, they create narratives now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They take half the interview, and they only glorify the bad parts. Hey,
The clickbait.
matter of fact, I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and this is back in the day. This is gonna make you laugh. You know, to all the Augies, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I used to run a magazine called Mental, the magazine. And what we used to do, it was a grassroots magazine, and I used to interview all the upcoming black businesses. Whether you're trying to do something with something, it's just to get people to know it because I was jostling my
Right.
little magazines.
Right.
Some call it a newsletter, but
Had an
as a
editorial. You was putting out an editorial.
editorial, if you will. But we had poetry, we had different articles, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But every time we had a rap section where we used to interview rappers. Now, I could put out who these interviews was about because we didn't interview a lot of these people on our platform. You know what I'm saying? Who are
Yeah.
part of this, who are loosely a part of this story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we ain't gonna go there. But anyway, I was giving this interview. It was a beautiful interview. You know what I mean? We
Right.
talking about the guy's career, how he came up. You know what I'm saying? All that, right?
Right.
And he had his brother slash, you know what I'm saying? Uh, executive producer, if you will.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he
Mm-hmm.
was there. So it was like we had everybody, the boss. You know what I'm saying? We had the boss, the underboss, we had the artist. It was a great interview. So the interview was over, and back in the day, when you do your interviews, you just had to have a tape recorder, and you just, you ask your questions, and then you go home and you write it. You gotta write it all down. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
gotta type it all in.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So boom. So the interview is over. I'm about to click the tape, and the guy who's gonna remain nameless says, "Oh no, I want to say something else."
Mm. Okay. So at the end of the interview, he had something he had been wanting to say, but the
I
way
didn't
you
ask
were
him.
the way you were steering it, you were navigating the waters, you know what I mean, to where you really didn't, you knew he wanted to get that off, but you wasn't gonna let him get it off,
I
you
would,
know.
yeah.
So
And
he
he
kind of
insisted,
forced it at the end of the day, when you had put your guard down, when you was like, all right, mission accomplished,
right.
he hit you with a by the way.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, we need to talk about this. And
Yeah.
I want this, and I want this to be in print, talked about, right?
Oh, so he said, I want this on the record.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He insisted. Both of them did. So, needless to say, it wasn't a very it wasn't a very it was
So pretty much he bashed another uh
well,
all right, another person, so to speak.
well his former band members, if you will.
Ah, okay. So he expressed his frustrations,
Right,
about his former situation.
right. It
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
and since he had the platform, he wanted it to be known by everybody that read this about him. Oh, that's good, but
That this
yeah,
how he felt.
I want
This
y'all to
how
know about this too.
right, but this how I'm really feeling.
Yeah, right. So and I ain't gonna lie, I was like, ooh, it was scathing. It
Yeah,
was to say the least.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Did you think
saying?
about did you think about going against his wishes and leaving it out
Well,
at
see,
all?
as a journalist, my job is to when I interview someone, I got my questions, right?
Right,
But the interview is about them and what they really want to talk about.
right,
I'm only asking questions to see what they gonna say.
right.
You know what I mean?
There is journalistic integrity though, you know.
Okay.
But that's only if you feel like they're saying something about someone that you plan on doing business with later, you know.
I mean,
If it's about someone you have no real connection to, or no real, future with, then I guess you're right. Yeah, go ahead and get that off.
I
But
mean,
if it's somebody that I see down the road that I might interact with, you know what I mean? I'm not going, you know what I mean? I'm not going to let you get the energy off, you know what I mean, on my joint, you know what I mean? To make them feel
right.
like I'm on that. That's my opinion too. So when you put it out, did you feel the backlash, or did they come for him?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. They definitely want to blame me for basically expressing what this man wanted to say about his professional beef
Yeah, not
with
going to the
certain
source.
individuals. Now
They all knew the
he wasn't
story,
talking about nothing personal.
right?
He didn't say uh, XYZ was this, that, and the third. He didn't demean none of them. He talked about what he talked about was business practices. That's why I let it go.
Right, right, right.
He did not talk about, he
And
did
he
not
didn't tell so,
demean
so he
or
wasn't
attack.
talking about them as men. He was just talking about the business. It just wasn't how I wanted to see it go.
And how it left him sour in that situation.
Okay, yeah, no, I get it now. Yeah, I see what you're
He
saying.
never
I see what you're
said
saying. Right, right,
he
right,
yeah, he
right,
never said he just liked any of these cats. He never said nothing like that. And if anybody, you know what I'm saying, know what I'm talking about, and y'all know about the Mental the magazine, you still got your issue.
right,
Go through them. You know what I mean? Because it was
right,
a real big one at the crib at the time. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And all I can tell the other party, it was like, how you gonna let him? What you mean? I gave you an interview also
Mm-hmm.
first. You got
Mm-hmm.
the interview first.
Right,
And then they was like, well, can I get an interview? I got an album coming out. I said, well, of course.
right,
Because as a journalist, I have no loyalty to either party.
right. And
All I'm here to do.
plus I'm on everybody who doing something. So of course you're on the list. Of course you're on the list of bookings, because I'm trying to deal with whoever got something going. So,
Yeah,
don't make it like I picked a side
right,
by
right,
putting out an editorial.
right. You know what I'm saying? And that's about the only backlash I could think of. But that wasn't nothing. That's like, come on, man.
Yeah. So
Stop
other
it.
than that, you've always been a positive journalist, you know, and I'm
Oh
and I'm sure
yeah,
people and I'm sure
yeah,
people see it on the I'm sure people see it on the show. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And how we and how you've always carried yourself from the very first
No doubt.
episode you came on. You know what I
But the
mean?
moral of my story is I did not sensationalize and sell what I knew was in that was between them pages
Mhm.
as my selling point.
Right. Yeah, you wasn't
I didn't
going
say,
around with it.
oh,
You wasn't going
oh,
around with it in your hand like, hey, buy my new magazine, man. Old boy went crazy on them.
right, bam,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Just buy my magazine.
You kept your same advertisement tactics as
Buy
you
my
usually would.
magazine. You'll see what's in it when you read it. You know what I mean?
Right. Now
Buy my
that's
magazine.
journalistic integrity right there. You know what I'm saying? And that's real
And
talk, man. But we ain't gonna hold everybody up all night, man. You know what I'm saying? But we want to thank everybody that's tapped in. I hope everybody, you know what I mean, soaked it up, man. You know what I mean? Because we always try to break it down simple and plain, right and exact, nothing taken away, nothing added, exactly as it should be. You know what I mean? And when the Augie and the Agavelli in the building, man, it's straight science, man. It's always gonna be that way. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all tap into us on Instagram, like I said. You know what I mean? Get with us, you know what I mean? Let's build the community up, man. And then after a while, we'll start going live, man, and really start really getting into some
yeah,
conversations. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But let's keep it going. Thank all the followers, you know what I mean? And thank all the viewership and everything that's been going on, man, and people clicking on it, you know what I mean, to get the real story and get some real insight and get some real elevation for your mind. Ain't nothing wrong with watching a little getting entertained by the entertainment, but take the time to really tap into something, that God degree, that food, that brain food, man, you know what I mean, to help you navigate, you know what I
live
mean,
entertainment.
through this third dimension. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
anything you want to say before you get up out of here, Augie?
I mean, I want to give peace, love, and Aggies to all the Aggies and the Agavellians, and of course Agavelli himself and everybody who is hey, who been rocking with us. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, my man, it's like Pinky in the Brain. My man, he constantly, in the lab like Aggie. You know what I'm saying? He showed me some numbers. Hey man, salute to all the Aggies, man.
Man,
All y'all, man.
for real.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank y'all.
Hey, we growing. We growing. And we appreciate it and we thank y'all cats.
We do.
Because guess what? We got some little tidbit. We gave y'all a little splash with the with
Yeah.
the with the with the whiz. You
Right.
splash it with the whiz.
Right.
But if you like that type of content, we breaking it down to not what you think you seeing, but what you really seeing. Just let us know.
Right.
But trust me, it's something in everything. Entertainment ain't what you think it is. It's entertaining a piece of your gig, but it's also programming your mind to what the agenda of the entertainment really is.
Right.
Yeah, they,
Yeah. We got
you
so much
know,
more for y'all. We got so much more
mm,
for y'all. And like he said, we appreciate you guys tapping in and all
love y'all
the
cats,
viewership
man.
and the views we've been getting. It's been keeping us motivated and keeping us going, man. And we gonna keep giving it to y'all, man. Like you said, just the surface of what we tapping into, man. We're really about to be getting in deep into our minds and our thoughts, man, and seeing things as they really are on every level. You know what I mean? And
Every
I,
level.
I want to thank everybody once again. You already know who it is. Born Build Universal, transmitter of supreme science on Earth and the universe. And this is I God TV. Peace.
Aggie.